So today we're just going to be having a laid back conversation, a heart to heart conversation about what to do when you feel stuck in your career. So let's talk. I've been there. There's been times where you get tunnel vision, you get tunnel vision. You're like, I just want to grow. I want to grow. I want to grow. I want to grow in my career. I want to make this amount of money. I want to have this type of position. I want to have this type of title. I want to be successful. And this is what success looks like to me. And you get tunnel vision, and that's the only thing you think about. So when that happens, you get up and you go to work and you're frustrated. You get there and you're frustrated because you're like, oh, I only do this. Or I only make this amount of money. And you just start getting frustrated about life. Everything starts irritating you because you're not growing in your career. And it just starts to snowball into this uneasy, angry feeling. And I would encourage you to not get that tunnel vision, to focus on your career, but have other hobbies and other things outside of work that interest you, that drive you, areas where you give back to others, because when you're doing that, it will help you not have tunnel vision and be able to be a full-rounded person. A lot of people sometimes will say, well, they said I'm not qualified because I don't have the experience. Well, how can I get the experience if you won't give me an opportunity to get the experience? And what I say to that, and what I've actually done, is volunteer. I had to volunteer in an HR role before I was even asked to be a HR receptionist, an HR admin. So I encourage you to, if you're interested in a field and you're having a hard time getting into that position because you have lack of experience, volunteer somewhere. Find an organization that you're passionate about and ask them, may I volunteer as whatever you're trying to get into? And it helps them and it helps you. And then ask them, may I use you as a reference on my resume? May I list this on my resume? But also, let's say you're in the career that you are passionate about, that you know you're called to do, and you're working for a great company. You just also feel stuck there in your current position. You haven't changed positions in a while, or maybe that position doesn't fulfill you anymore. What do you do then? How do you get out of that situation? I encourage you to be open and honest with your boss. When you're having performance reviews or annual reviews, each company calls it a different thing. But when you're having those review time periods with your boss, I encourage you to be honest with them. Let them know, like, I am feeling stuck in my career. I am feeling like I'm not able to grow either within my position or within this company. Do you have any pointers for me? Do you have any feedback for me on how I can grow? And I encourage you to be open, truly open to what they're going to share with you, because it might be a hard conversation, a lot harder than you're expecting. They might say things like, well, you need to improve on turning in your work on time, or you need to improve on your attitude, or you need to improve on the way you dress when you come to work, or how you arrive to work, or how you leave work. So you need to be open to those tough conversations if you're going to put yourself out there and if you're going to open that door. But that's a great door to open, because a manager or a boss, they can help create those opportunities for you if they know you want to grow. Sometimes they simply don't know, and so they can't recommend you for different positions or recommend you for different opportunities because they don't know that you're interested in growing. So just be ready to put in the work. Be ready to put in the hours. Sometimes we feel stuck, but we don't necessarily want to do the work to get unstuck. We don't necessarily want to work till 10 o'clock at night and on the weekends and when we're sick. And we don't necessarily want to pick up the extra projects or do the extra work and not see the monetary benefit of it right away. We want to see it right away and think that we're going to grow that way. And a lot of times that's not how it works. A lot of times you got to put in the work up front. You got to work those hours up front. You got to take all those extra projects up front and not see a gain from it until later. Caution you to not fall in the trap of comparison. Oftentimes when we start feeling stuck in our career, and not just in our career, this could be life, this can be relationships, family, lifestyle, this could be in any area. But as we're talking about careers, When you start to feel stuck in your career, it's easy to start being a part of the comparison game. So you find that person you went to college with on Facebook or social media somewhere, and you figure out what they're doing, and you're like, oh, that's what she's doing, or that's what he's doing, or oh, they have a better job than I do, or oh, they make more money than I do. Or you find a past colleague and you're like, that's what they're doing? Like, I remember when I trained them, or I remember when I hired them. How are they making that much money and I'm not? And you start getting into this comparison trap. And that's a dangerous trap to be in, because then you start doing things that aren't necessarily for you. You start making moves or jumps in your jobs or in careers. You leave your current position, you go to another company, and it's just not a good fit. And that's how you start seeing gaps in people's resumes, or you start seeing that they jump from position to position. It's because they're in that comparison trap, and they're comparing themselves to their peers, and they're not looking at the full picture of maybe what their peers have done and their journey to get there. They just simply see, oh, Facebook, their job title is this, or LinkedIn, their job title is that, and they have no idea of what it took for that person to get there. So I caution you in getting caught up in the comparison trap. You have to review sometimes your education level. Is it worth going back to school? Is your education hindering you from growing in your career? And I remember when I was deciding if I was going to go get my master's degree or not, there was two different points in my life when I had to decide that. There was a point where I had decided I'm going to get my master's degree, and it was because everybody was getting theirs, and it was like the next thing to do. I also felt stuck in my career, and I wasn't sure how to move forward. So I was like, I'll just get a master's degree and that'll work. But then I became discouraged along the way with work and with life and just so many things happening that I quit the program, because I didn't have the true drive to finish it. I didn't have a true end goal either. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with that master's degree and if it was going to pay off. So you have to evaluate if getting the master's degree is, or that next level of degree is worth it, but not only decide if it's worth it, have a drive to finish it. I later on down the line did go back to school and completed my master's degree, but when I went back to school the second time, I had a different mindset. I had a different drive. I knew exactly what I was going for. I knew exactly the position I wanted. I knew exactly why I was getting that degree, and the pressure of life wasn't going to hinder me from completing that at that time, because it wasn't necessarily about feeling stuck. It was about, I am going to grow, and this is going to help me grow. So sometimes you need to review your education and say, is this something that I need to help me grow? And is this, not having this education, a stumbling block in me growing in my career? So I encourage you, don't get discouraged. The right position, and if you're not with the company you want to be with right now, the right company will come along, and it will be the right time. But in the meantime, maximize every opportunity you currently have to learn, and every opportunity you currently have to grow, and to keep a positive attitude in that time of waiting, or in that time of preparation, so that when it comes along, you're ready for it. These are additional steps that you can take to help you get unstuck in your career. So thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Subscribe if you like this video. Hit the like button if it was helpful. Leave a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to give some more advice if you have questions or concerns about how to get unstuck in your career. I'll see you next time.